All right, so we're live, and I have a very special guest for you guys today. And this is a little bit odd to me because usually it's me that's being introduced. But today, I'd like to introduce a very special guest. Now, this guest that I'm about to introduce, he is a jack of all trades. He is very talented in various aspects of life. As a man, but not only that, but he has accomplished so much in so little time, and he's actually made me very proud. And this has been, like I mentioned, a long time coming. This podcast, we've been planning on it, but I've always said to this individual, I need you to become the person that you wish to be in order for us to tell your story. And today, this gentleman is going to tell his story, and we are going to give it to you raw, like we have done every single time, every time that we've gone in front of camera, except this one's a little bit more special because we are going to be exactly how we are off of camera. So without further ado, let me introduce this very special individual. He's a very close friend of mine. He's a businessman. He's an entrepreneur, runs his own business. He comes from an entertainment background. He has accomplished a lot. He's gotten into business. He is now running his own business. He's an investor, and he's taking care of his people and his family. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud and honored to introduce my close friend, my mentee, Maharatia. Some of you know him as T, but we prefer Maharatia. Welcome to the show, brother.
Wow, my brother Gerks, man, what an honor to be here. I'm so blessed. I know you're a busy man, doing a lot of things. So it's just so grateful to be here with you. And what an introduction. What an introduction.
You know me, brother, and it's good to have you. And I always make time for those that are very special and close to my heart. So it's definitely a pleasure to have you here, and especially looking forward to your story and sharing it out with the world. So let's get into it without further ado. It's been a long time coming. So
I know, I know, bro. I know. So yeah.
So before we get into the present times, for the audience sake, let's start from the very beginning. Let's take it way back, okay? Let's take it back to how you actually got into the entertainment business, and how you dipped your toes into the entertainment business first, and then we'll come through the timeline to where we are in the present moment today. Okay. So where did you start? How did you get into this?
Good question. Look, there's a pivotal moment where I'd like to start off with is where, I come from a background of my family being broken. No education. I dropped out, high school dropout. A street kid that was just like a young lion trying to find his way.
Where were you living?
I was living in multiple areas on the Gold Coast. I was shifting. I was a troubled kid during high school.
So you grew up on the Gold Coast?
Yes, correct. I was brought up down in Sydney. I was born and bred down in Sydney, and I moved up in my early teens around the 14, 15 mark, and started my high school in there, which took me to a pivotal moment where I dropped out of high school. And this moment really was a pivotal moment. And I say this because, when you drop out of high school, you got to find a job. And moving out with my father at a caravan park in Tweed Heads, not much to show, just starting my life, my first job in a caravan park. And why I say this is because I was a toilet cleaner, scrubbing toilets.
We all had to start somewhere, brother.
I know, right? And cleaning out rubbish bins. And during this time, I was in the toilet cubicle, sitting down just exactly how I am, trying to kill time. We didn't have Instagram back then, no mobiles, no internet. So I was playing.
The good old days.
Good old days, bro. Yeah, exactly. And this bit of a moment, man, I was just trying to kill time in this cubicle, in this toilet. And I was 6 months in, and I thought to myself, man, can't be my life. Legit, this can't be it. And I made a promise to myself that day, that from this day forth, I'll never ever do nothing that I ever didn't like ever again. So within that month, I quit my job, and And funny enough, I had a fallout with my father, and that ended up into a fight.
He wanted you to stay in the job?
Well, back then I was obviously doing a few things, still a troubled kid, trying to find my way. And yeah, we just weren't getting along. So we had this fight, and it led me to when I was 16, and just with my backpack, and I walked.
Okay. So what did you do then after? So you've quit the job.
Yep.
And you're still on the Gold Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get into entertainment?
So from then, man, a circle of events. I got into entertainment through some churches, which were the youth.
With the church?
Yeah.
That's different.
St. Joseph's.
I went to St. Joseph's College too.
Yeah, funny.
There you go.
There you go, funny enough.
Yeah.
And they took me in from the streets.
Yeah.
And it kind of led me into youth work, which was PCYC, going to gymnastics, into dancing. And back then I loved to dance. And that's what kind of started my journey. And then from 16 onwards, things started to have a ripple effect, which led me into Polynesian dancing, going overseas, gymnastics coaching, teaching little kids from tiny tots from year 4.
That's where all the talent started.
Yep, pretty much, bro.
Yeah.
And
that's what people don't realize about you. They look at you and think, how does he know so much? Because you do so many things. Obviously dancing, you do fire twirling, you have many talents. Every time you're called out for something, it's a different gig. I'm like, how many talents do you have, right? So, and I've always admired that, because someone that's got as many talents as you can easily be able to get a job and work anywhere while they're traveling. So that's
Legit.
one thing that you have, but you also have various other accomplishments, which we'll get into a bit later on. So you got into the dancing first and foremost.
Correct.
Yep. And then you traveled?
Yep.
Yep.
So the dancing kind of led me into fire spinning, and then fire spinning got approached into Polynesian dancing.
Okay.
I know, but it's a story and a half.
Connects.
Yep. And then the Polynesian led me going to overseas. And then
where did you go?
I went to Macau, China.
Okay.
Lived there for a year, and we were touring the whole of China, all the major cities.
Doing this specific dance.
Correct. Polynesian dancing
Yeah.
for the first 6 months.
Wow.
And then the last 6 months with DreamWorks characters.
Yeah.
Playing Madagascar from Alex the Lion from Madagascar. I like to move it, that type of stuff. Character work.
Yeah. I find that in China, they're interested with other traditions and cultural differences, and they like bringing people over and running those types of events and shows. So that would have been amazing. And China would have no doubt been an experience and a half for you. How old were you then?
I was roughly in my 20s, my early 20, 21.
Yeah.
And
So dancing, and then you went over there, you done all this. Talk to me a little about one of my favorites talents that you have, and that's the fire spinning. And guys, if you don't know, my fire spinning talents, this guy here taught me. I mean, I pretend I'm the best, but I'm not the best. This guy, he knows what he's doing, and is an excellent teacher. So reach out if that's something that you'd like to do and learn. It's something that if you want to learn from this guy over here. So, and I've always been fascinated with that, because you're dancing with danger. You've got fire on both sides of the stick, and you're spinning it like as if it's nothing. So how did you get into to specifically fire spinning? And because I know you've done events all around the Gold Coast and even around the country. Yep. So who got you into fire spinning, and how did you excel there?
So after coming back from Macau, China, all my friends, I still had connects with friends such as Fiesta Creations, which is my boss, Amanda, beautiful lady.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She is. And just from then, she's seen I was young, I had a lot of energy, and I was just keen to learn. I was always just a yes man. I was like, yep, I'll be there. Yeah. Rehearsals, half an hour early, bro. Yeah. I was that keen. I just, I took every opportunity I could. And
so showing up is key, right?
Legit.
The most important, showing up is definitely key, that a lot of people don't do, and they miss out on a lot of opportunities. So you went from there to, and I've met Amanda. She does a lot of things on the Gold Coast. Yep. She's never really taken a break from what I see.
No, 100%. No, she's an amazing woman, and she kind of led me up until lots of things. Then I become doing stilt walking.
Yes.
And then stilt walking, I led to doing more performances and cabaret performances and stuff like that. So yeah, she was definitely kind of sort of the foundation that kind of built my fire spinning career up until 12 years later.
Yeah. Let's get into a little bit more of the spicier things.
Okay.
I think the crowd out there wants to dive into the bit more of the touchy and spicier things.
Okay.
And like we promised, we're not gonna not cover anything. We're gonna cover everything.
Yep.
Everything that you're comfortable covering
100%.
On here. And we've spoken off of camera, and you said to me, look, I just want to put it all on the table so people get to truly know who I am. So let's get into that. So I've met a lot of the boys around you. And obviously when I first came to the Gold Coast, I didn't have many friends. I only knew only one person at the time, one or two people before I met you. And we'll get to that in a second though.
Yep.
So tell me how you got into the entertainment business, more so, topless waitressing and the more,
Yeah, no, 100%. So also it stems from when I came back from China, I was dancing in a fire spinner. So that's all I was back then, just a dancer, fire spinner, Polynesian dancing. And I got recruited from a lovely lady, a choreographer. And when she recruited me, it was back then it was called a Magic Mic. And, all I heard was dancing on stage and I get paid good money. So.
And there was a movie, Magic Mike too, wasn't there?
Yeah, correct. So it was pretty much the first one.
Yeah, and I remember those time periods because everyone was like going and watching these shows, and there was a big fuss about, oh my God, there's this men's dance thing, and it was a massive hype. I remember those days.
Yep.
Because all of the girls around me were talking about it. So no doubt, and the women still love you to this day. I mean, I've never met anyone that doesn't love you. So good looking man, and obviously knowing those talents and dancing, that comes with both the pros and cons, and we'll get into the cons about that for sure, so that our audience knows to the full extent.
Yes.
So you got into that. Magic Mike was a hype. It was already beaming. So you pretty much got shot into that. And what was that experience like?
Well, being a young lion, man, I had no experience with women at all. I did my first stage show. I was on the newspaper. I still got the newspaper articles for sure. And legit, man, once the show ended, bro, you could not get me off stage, bro. I was literally in there.
You got the bug.
I got the bug, and everybody was like looking at me saying, what, look at this guy off already. And I was there 20 minutes, still there. What?
Yeah.
You couldn't get me off. So that's kind of.
You got into that. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And so when you got into that, just for a bit of timeline, so our audience understands the timeline through it. So from that point in time, so where we went from coming back from China, how old were you when you got into the entertainment?
So I got back around the 21, 22.
Yeah.
And started the whole male stripping industry from 22 all the way up to 29.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's, if you realize, and our audience would have realized as well, I specifically didn't want to use the term stripper because for me, it's something that's got this stigma to it. It's people listen, people hear the term and they instantly think negative things. But I've been backstage, I've been there. Hey, to be honest with you, I've even managed you before, right? We went to Tangalooma only last year, and it was very respectful. You came in, you did what you needed to do. At the end of it, everyone thanked you for it. Took a few pictures, paid in cash on your way. So it's not like what people make it out to be. I think it's very different depending on the circumstance and the audience, because I've been at the more mature audiences and I couldn't really identify to see anything negative. I think everyone was there really enjoying their time. And and you get good and bad in a lot of these industries, regardless of what it is. I mean, you look at the movie industry and what's coming out now with Hollywood, right? So, all of these things. And I just wanted to put that in there and make that clear because I didn't understand to the extent. And as we became closer, I started looking at it as a normal job, and I'm glad to have been there because some things made some good memories for me. It was a laugh, that's for sure. It was fun and whatever, whatnot. So you went from that and you were obviously contracted, right? You were on the call. I'd call you and say, hey, we've got a show here. Can you please make it out to this show? And you take the job, right?
Yep.
So you went from that to then owning your own business.
Yes, correct.
And from what I know, you trained up a lot of the people that were around you.
Yep, dancers. Yep.
Yeah, and you showed them certain routines that would be specific to them.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Captain America.
That's right.
You know, see what I'm talking about right now.
Yep.
And he's traveling the world right now.
This is correct. The routine that I taught him 7 years ago, he's still doing that routine today.
Still cashing in.
Now we call him the Mr. International Superstar.
Well, Captain America, right?
That's right.
And I believe he's got a tattoo of Captain America on his arm. So that whole thing suits him. You know,
Yep.
You know, he's got that body, the build for it. He's got the routine for it. He's loving it. He likes what he does. He's traveling.
Yep, and making good cash. So.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. So you went from being the person on call to then getting the bookings and saying, "Hey guys, we have a job here, and here."
Correct.
Which one do you want the job?
Yep.
Amazing. So you monetized on that. So tell me a little bit more from that point. So you went from dancing. How did you set up your own business? What was a pivotal moment that you said, "Hey, I want to be the one that's you know, telling people that I've got this gig over here and I want you to go"?
I started with a company called Bad Boys Australia.
Yeah.
And that was a big learning curve for me. And I just thought we're doing that for, so let's just say, example, 7 years. There was a demand missing, meaning, I was the only dark guy in my group. So I knew there was a lack of, there's something missing.
Yeah.
So I thought,
there's demand.
So I thought, you know what? Maybe instead of having Bad Boys Australia, which is all dominated by obviously tanner skin, and me being the only dark guy, I thought, you know what? Let's make something called Chocolate Fantasy.
That's how it was born.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you put that up, you connected it.
Correct.
And how was it? Because obviously you went from a different company to your own. How did you find that transition? Was there a lot of pushback? Did you have bosses telling you, "Hey, you can't go against me"?
100%.
Because there's competition.
It was. And, I was always open. My communication was to my boss at that time was to, "Hey, bro, let's do this together." And long story short, being the boss in competition, he would try and buy the name, the domain name, and then I would ask him, he would try and deny it. So a little bit of few things.
He didn't want you to be competition.
Legit, because I literally learned everything from this man. And what was he like?
And he was an older gentleman?
Yep, older gentleman.
Mature,
almost like a father figure too.
Yeah.
And that was the whole transition there. And building my own and getting my own boys, and then learning the marketing and then the promo, and then going to nightclubs and on all this type of scene. And then that's when all the hedonism acts come into play.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's touch on that.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my next question.
Okay. Yep.
So being in the industry, obviously you're surrounded by women. Young women.
Yep.
Older women.
Married.
Everything in between. Married women. Yeah, I've seen that. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
From my experience, having their husbands, pictures on the wall and to wanting to touch you and offering money, and me saying, no, this is all professional, strictly professional. We're licensed. I mean, you're putting us under jeopardy here. I seen it for myself.
Yep.
And that's crazy. And obviously, the guys around me, and doesn't know whatever like because we're on camera or not on camera, but most of the time, pretty much, since I've known you, you've always said, no, sorry, I can't. I'm seeing somebody, this is business.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So obviously you're younger. So let's just rule that out for a second.
Yeah.
Just so our audience understands that if you're a young man with high testosterone and you're good looking and you're tall and all the women want you, you know how to dance, let's not bullshit anybody. The women are going to want you. The men are going to be tempted. That's just the way it goes.
100%.
So you would have definitely been tempted. Tell me what did you do that you now look back and realize, and that's your take from those times in that period of time?
I back then, being 22, young and tempted, man, I couldn't even know how to talk to a girl, to be honest. But as the years went through, I with a man with no morals, no code, really no honor or integrity at all, man, I was pretty much the worst of the worst.
And you didn't have direction at the time?
Not at all. My direction was my boys telling me, "You're the man. Yeah, bro, go do those drugs. Yeah, bro, let's get on the bags." They would say, let's do alcohol. Let's get more women. Yeah, bro, you're the man. Feeding my ego, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah.
And then I became this character called Seductive Chocolate. And I was this character for, say, 7 to 8 years. And it become my identity where I would, sleep with lots of women. I would be a player. I would do, the worst things. I would with married women, X, Y, and Z, and through that industry, I lost myself. I thought that was who I was. I wanted to do this forever. My whole life, I wanted to do this towards the age of 50.
Yeah.
And, it just got worse and worse. The relationships I was in, I would cheat 100%, back then, and, I'd break women's hearts,
Because there's so much temptation all the time.
100%. And when I look back now, I'm like, wow, it's
devastating, isn't it?
It is devastating because,
And you can't see it at the time.
Oh, bro, I was so delusional, man. My ego was up here. I thought the boys were telling me, bro, you're the man.
Yeah.
You're the man.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I am the man.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a man was.
And this is why we need real friends around us that's not going to feed us bullshit. They're going to tell us as it is. They're going to, stand by the truth and have the courage to say what you're doing is wrong. And a lot of people, again, the friends I was around, okay, I didn't have a lot of people telling me, like I had an anger problem when I was out there,
Yeah.
And if I felt like someone did me wrong, I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do them wrong, and I just felt like, no, I hear you because it's challenging coming up as a teenager into that type of world, young man growing up, temptations everywhere. Women want you, so you do minimal work.
Legit.
Right? So that's crazy. And did you get into a relationship or did you have a relationship while you're doing?
I did. And it happened so spontaneously. Like I was just seeing a girl, 1 month to 6 months. Before you know it, she's looking at me like, we're together. I'm like, oh, well, fuck, and I was still doing my thing.
Yeah.
Like meaning just going on shows. We're talking shows. We're talking tours around Australia. We're talking going international.
Yeah.
We're talking like, bro, thousands of women throwing at yourselves at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was like say, oh yeah, who's your favorite guy?
Yeah.
Perfect, let's go.
Crazy.
Legit.
Yeah.
It was like a...
I remember I came to one of your shows one time in Broadbeach. And, I was invited as a guest. It wasn't full on. It wasn't a full on show. It was just more of a act. Everyone was doing their thing. But I can't believe the amount of girls that were cheering you on and wanting to touch you. And even after the show, those girls waiting outside at the door.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, who are you waiting for? They're like, waiting for this guy and that guy. And can you get it? Do you know that guy? Can you get his number? And I was mind blown. Do you know? And then I started realizing that, man, where have we come as a society? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things that's not morally right. And it's being, it's becoming glamorized.
Yep.
And it's all over Instagram. Yep. And the more revealing and, promiscuous somebody is, they're getting rewarded for it, whether it be likes or views.
Yep.
Right? And so that gives the women the ego to do those things and say, I'm on the same level as men now. Oh. I'm a heartbreaker too now. But they don't understand the damage that they're causing for themselves, because when the time comes and one day they want to be a mother, because it's in their instinct, it's in their calling. One day they're going to wake up and go, I'm ready. I want to be a mother now. But then they're going to realize that, number one, the man chooses them. And number two, the man doesn't have to ask them for marriage. No woman's going to get the choice to get on the knee and say, would you marry me to a man?
That's right.
So from that perspective, they're harming themselves. And then from the male's perspective, we're adding to the problem.
Correct.
So I'm not going to just look at one and say the women are bad, because they're not. We fuck them up as well.
That's right.
Right? So, and we traumatize them. So when you realize that, you're like, oh, wow, the devil's got this cycle of trauma and, the negativity and the way we're thinking about things. And it's all for what? Pleasure?
Literally.
So that's what it's become. And then so when you realize this, And we'll get to that in a second as well, because
Yep.
I think that's more recent than
Mhm.
than obviously how it was back then.
Yep.
Talk to me more about the relationship you got into. So now you found yourself in a relationship, and so how were you able to work? Was she not jealous? Like, how did that go for you?
Yeah. Look, I had a few relationships within the 7-year period that I was doing it, and yeah, some of them met me doing it. Some of them didn't want me doing it.
Yeah.
They were always envious, questioning all the time. And man, at the end of the day, I wasn't, integrity of who I was. I was still being seductive chocolate.
Yeah.
This character
Playing
that
the
was
character, yeah.
that was feeding my ego. You're the man, So that's all I knew back then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was kind of like whatever goes. I'm having fun. I'm young.
but literally, it's all about me.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now let's get into a little bit more of the sensitive, topics around, how, because now what we're about to speak about is ideally a lot of things that happen that came together that made you who you are. Being wiser, smarter with your decisions and your time, cutting certain people off.
Yes.
Leading into the direction of investing, which, was never a thing, which investing can change a life. Not only that, but generations to come.
Yep.
So let's get into that. So
Yep.
were you with the same girl because you told me, and I've seen some things,
Yep.
and you had gone through this devastating court case. Was that the same person you were with?
Towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes.
Because this person that you were with,
Mhm.
which broke a part of you to become and shape you into this person.
Mm.
Let's get into that. So
Yes.
you got into this relationship.
Yep.
Because I remember you telling me you obviously had a lot of feelings for this person, and
Mhm.
you were prepared to do a lot of things that you weren't prepared to do previously, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. How did that pan out? You were doing the job, you met her.
Yep. So just to back it up real quick, I broke up with a previous partner
Okay.
like a month prior.
Okay, so it was fresh.
It was fresh.
Yeah.
Now I'm on Instagram. I'm following girls, doing my thing. I got 10,000 followers, seductive chocolate. I'm adding all these girls. That was just my thing back then.
Yeah.
And at law of averages, ding, message. And before you know it, we connected quick, fast. She said, I love you within the first month.
Wow.
Really quick, man.
Yeah.
And, looking at back, we were lost. I was lost. She didn't have her family. I didn't have my family at the time, and yeah, it just really started off. It was beautiful at the start, but things from her past, from her previous partners, her trauma, she brought it in to the relationship, which made her feel insecure, which doing my job as a male entertainer with girls all over you just kind of triggered that all,
of course.
and then her being a psychologist and a lawyer, I really had to prove my self-worth.
Deadly mix, man.
Oh,
Deadly mix.
well, psychologist, and she would literally dive deep into my mind and intention.
She would have known how to work you.
Oh,
For sure.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And tell me what happened with the court case? Well, how did that pan out?
Well, even getting into the court case, with this relationship with this lawyer and psychologist, first of all, it started off of being insecure. First of all, it started taking my friends away. First of all, it started taking who I was away and then isolating me and then forcing me into a corner to do the work. Her intentions were well, but forcing a man into a corner kind of can lead into, heinous acts between each other, which it is which led into domestic violence, which is DV today. And, it's funny because, for a man, it's okay for a woman to lay into a guy and have black eyes like this. And then you wake up in the morning, you know what? It's okay, babe. It's all right because you're a man.
Yeah.
We're
expected to do a lot of bullshit.
100%. And that was the first thing. And then 2 years later, it got worse, and it got worse.
So you're with her for 2 years?
Pretty much.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yep.
And when I went sour, how long did that go on for that 2 years? Was it also close to 2 years?
Yeah, it was within that 2 year bracket. It was the first year was like kind of goodish, and it just got worse.
Yeah.
You know, her insecurities, just with everything.
Yeah.
Even myself.
Yeah.
You know, and
what made it worse? Was it just the arguing based on your shows and the things you would do, or was it always that?
I had to delete my Snapchat, I had to delete my Instagram, I had to delete my Facebook. I couldn't hang out with my close friends, anyone. She'll just literally, and I just lost the sense of who I am. And she'll use, if you love me, or
manipulation,
or gaslighting me, so saying, I thought you were going to strip, or stop stripping, quit.
Yeah.
And I was like, never in my mind will ever say that. And I was like,
because that was your own bread and butter back then, right?
Exactly.
You didn't have anything else happening.
So she wanted me to get a new job.
Yeah.
All I had to do was work 2 nights a week, and I would make everyone's wage in a week.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go to a normal.
And you enjoyed doing it at the time as well.
I was traveling, yeah.
But the crazy thing is, she knew that before she got into the relationship, correct?
Yeah.
But she still chose to be in the relationship with the man that's doing his job.
Correct.
And you're providing for her, you're helping her out and do what you needed to do.
Yep. We even got a place together, moved in, and that's when things got worse.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and looking back on now, when you go back into our first, how we kicked things off in that first month, it was trauma bonding.
Of course, yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. That's what I was going to bring up at the very beginning when you said she was bringing up her past and connecting with your past and the way things happen.
And then I was still fresh.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to play around because I was still heartbroken.
Yeah.
You know, and because I seen a woman that we connected so soon on Christmas Day, 2 strangers that only met within two to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, so it was real quick, real fast. And I think we just try to fill that void.
Yeah.
Because I was heartbroken and she had no family.
Yeah.
So I think she was just wanting some company, and things just got worse.
Yeah.
And I was always the cheater, and opening up. Yeah. And stuff like that.
Thank you for sharing. That's a powerful share. At least you're being honest about it.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and you've always been honest about it, of all the things that happen. And we're men, we're not perfect. You know,
far from it.
We do fuck up. We have emotions. You know, it's not like we don't have emotions. We do the best we can to guard other women's emotions. My background's a bit different. I was raised around, I was raised by my mother. I didn't have a father, but I was, had a lot of father figures per se at the time that was kind of like hard, you can't do this, you can do this. And, so I was brought up around some tough people. So it would have been good for my father to be around, obviously. I lost my father at 15. But being around women, I kind of had an idea on how they were, emotions, and, all over the place. And if you didn't do something, they'd get upset. And then, then you forgive it in a couple of hours, they're on the track.
Yep.
I had a lot of female cousins. So I understood that. But coming to you, it's hard because you had to do a lot of this thing on your own, from the street.
Literally.
To then seeing females from a certain lens. I remember how you used to see them, right? And I used to always say to you, hey, snap out of it because I have a mother and sister and they're not like that. And you'd be like, yeah, true.
That's right.
And so I even had to put in that effort to snap you out of it.
This is very true.
And so that court case happened. Yep. The court case was coming up.
Yep.
And so walk me through that. So because I remember the very moment that we actually met, right? And things started to shape. I mean, I didn't even know, to be honest.
That's right.
I had no idea what was going on.
That's
I just met this, big staunched New Zealander fella that was, respectful.
Yep.
Just to briefly touch on to the crowd. I remember walking in to a mutual friend's house.
That's right.
I was also under duress at the time. The pandemic. I had lost my businesses, and
that's right.
If you want to watch my story, it's also on the podcast. It's the first story that I've got on there. But so I was stressed out. I had lost my physical businesses. I was bringing in both cash and foot traffic and online, and I was like building myself back up. So
that's right.
Went to a mutual friend's house, opened the door, and my friend, I remember him saying, "There's a G, bro. There's this really good. He's a good fella, man. You'll get along with him. Come, I'll introduce you." And I didn't pay much attention to it.
Yeah,
I hear that all the time.
It's
very hard to find clean-hearted, good people. People that want to do good. Okay. And I just remember walking into the house, and I remember you know, you were dressed in all black. I think you had a gig or something like that on. It was winter. It was around June. You had a long coat, overcoat.
Yep.
And I remember the thing that caught my attention was the first thing you did when I was walking towards you was you stood up. And you stood up to shake my hand. And that's when I was like, this guy's respectful. I wonder how old he is. Doesn't look old. But that's respect, because a lot of people just like, yeah, how you going, mate? How are you?
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
Because I didn't know you. You didn't know me. You didn't have to stand up. And then you introduced yourself and we started clicking about the protein.
That's right.
And then you were like, where can I get some? And then it was my birthday weekend that weekend.
That's right.
And I remember saying to you, hey, you know, do you want to join? Do you want to come through? Come through to my birthday, man. It's tomorrow night. You're welcome to come. We're going to have this, you know, at this red bowl night where we're going to be in suits. Everyone's going to be in suits and the ladies are going to be in the red dresses.
Yep.
And you're like, I'd love to, man, but, you know, I'm working. I'm like, that's fine, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember we were going to exchange details and I didn't have Instagram at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you.
Oh, your business account.
I said, I don't have any Instagram, but I can give you my business account.
That's right. Yeah. I do.
And I did add you, but obviously business account, you got people following you all the time.
Yep.
And I thought that was going to be the last of it.
Yep.
And then,
yes.
And then tell the audience what happened after that.
So yeah, no, pretty much after that, obviously I wanted protein, and you had your brand. And I was like, well, perfect. I said, bro, I'd rather support someone I know.
Yeah. Plus it's New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You know, and then somebody else then randomly. So perfect. So it just made sense. And after that, you know, we started messaging. You would come over every now and then.
Yeah.
You would suss me out.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But before that, remember what happened? So that whole week after my birthday, I didn't end up connecting with you. And I spontaneously ended up taking my mother's car to the car wash.
Ah, this is correct. Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yes. So.
I pulled up right next to you. I didn't even know you were right next to me.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. No, I remember that clear as day.
Jump out on my like, and I look at it, and you were saying to me, "Hey, brother Gergs."
Brother Gergs.
Oh my God, T.
Yep, literally.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well, what are you up to? You're cleaning your mum's car.
Yeah.
You know, honorable man right here.
During the day.
Yeah, cleaning his mum's car. I love that. And that's when I invited you to my Top G party.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And I said it was all, you know, suit and tie.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Yeah, come through.
Yeah, you're like, I want you to show up.
Proper.
You're like, I want you to show up on your A game. I want you to look. I said, you sure?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And then, and I did. I rocked up. It was wild, man. I was on your apartment, top floor apartment. I rocked up and fucking there's women everywhere. There's more women than there was boys.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here? I walk in and I remember I brought you a bottle. And I put the bottle there for 2 seconds and I went looking for you and I seen you and you're out in the balcony talking to people. You know, Brother Gerks is here. And you started introducing me to everyone. He's Brother Gerks. And he runs his own protein.
Right.
And then I ended up meeting a few people. And I kind of started being a bit reserved. Didn't know who to talk to. So I was kind of just like, hey man, like, you know. And then the mutual friend was there. So I ended up connecting with him for a bit.
Yep.
And then as the night was progressing, I met Jakey.
Yep.
Actually,
my best mate. Yep.
Yeah. What you did was you actually got the microphone. There was a DJ there, remember?
That's correct.
The DJ and everything, and everyone's all mingling and doing their thing. The bottle was sculled by somebody. We didn't get to have a drink.
Yes. 100%.
And probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then you got the mic, and you're like, I want to introduce all my top Gs, my closest friends, my brothers. And I'm just in the back, just listening, you know, just minding my business.
Yeah.
And you're like my day one, one of the bros. I want to introduce Jakey, one of my day ones. You called him. He came up, gave you a shake, gave you a hug.
Yep.
Then I want to introduce Z, another brother of mine.
Yep.
We danced together. We did this together. He come up and gave a shake. And I remember I went up to Jakey as you were on the mic, and I said, Jakey, I said, because I met him earlier on. He was walking around, hands in his pocket and minding his own business. And I said, this guy looks like a character. I was just drawn.
Yeah.
I said, hey brother. I said, what's your name? He looks at me and goes, huh? He's Jakey.
Yeah, Jakey.
I said Gerks. And he goes, nice to meet you. And then after that, we introduced him. I'm like, oh, it's his close friend. And then after that, when you said that and you were introducing Z and to everybody, I went up to Jakey and said, if you're a close friend of his, you're a close friend of mine, brother. And and we connected there. And the next thing I know, Brother Gerks, I want to introduce everyone to Brother Gerks. I'm thinking to myself in my head, fuck, who am I? I felt happy because at the time I didn't know anybody. I only knew 2 or 3 people, you know?
Yeah.
And then people started to gravitate towards me and started asking me questions. I mean, they were doing it earlier on. And then that's where it really took off. And then me and you started to really connect.
Yes.
More so after all the entertainment, because there was a lot of things happening that night. There was DJs, there was fucking women going wild in the room, hooking up, which is crazy. I was like, bro, this is mind blowing, right? And people outside on the balcony and, you know, and it was just insane.
It was.
And
or something like that out of the Jordan Belfort movie.
it was crazy. But do you remember what I told you that night?
I did, actually.
What was it?
I remember you panning around and looking at all these different people, 50 plus people. It was like 100 people in this balcony, and you kind of just panned to everybody, and you're like, I wonder. You came and see me afterwards, and you said, I wonder if any of these people that are here at this party, you know, are here for his best interest. You know what I mean? I wonder who's his real friends. I wonder, because I was still playing that facade of seductive chocolate.
Yeah.
So you literally kind of, you know, I think that's the pivotal moment where everything started to change. Like when you planted the seed in my head just to see who's real, who's actually real.
That was just a simple question. I said, brother, I wonder how many of these people that are here today actually have your best interest at heart. And how many of them are actually real to you?
Yes.
And then I said to some of the people that were there that were claiming to be brothers, I said, you know what? I said, okay. Because to me, I thought you were going away to Singapore for some gigs. I had no idea. I thought we were celebrating that, right?
That was an initial celebration. I've told everybody that I'm going away.
Yeah.
But initially, behind the scenes, I had my court date.
Yeah.
And no one knew except for my close friends.
And, you know, a high risk of going to jail.
Literally. I made up my mind I was going.
I remember. And I had no clue at the time. I didn't know anything. And only when I said, because everyone was like, you know, he's my G, I said, you know what? Anyone that says that he's his G, let's stick it out till sunrise. I said, let's all kick back until sunrise, guys. Let's all kick it out till sunrise. And I remember everyone that did stay behind for sunrise. I can name every single one of them, you know, and we did. And then I remember we watched the sunrise. We did. We sat there on the balcony. There was a few of us who watched the sunrise. It was a beautiful sight. And then me and you went inside. I said, hey, I'm going to go home and get some sleep. And you said, hey, G, before you go, bro, you know, like we sat on the couch and I got into a little bit of a D&M with you in terms of what I was going through.
That's right.
With my business and not knowing anybody. And I was actually thanking you for having me a part of there and actually feeling like myself to be able to come there and have fun.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, from setting up my business all day. Like before that, I was just locking myself in a room, doing my work, saying, I'm not going to leave this room until my businesses are established and until I'm back in front. Because as a man, I need to take care of my family and I have dreams and ambitions to tick off in a certain period of time. And as I was telling you this, I remember you looked at me and said, hey, G, just got to be honest with you. And you said to me, I'm not actually going away to Singapore. And I was kind of confused. Remember how confused I got? I remember. And then you looked at me and you said to me, you're like, bro, I'm actually be going to jail. My court case on Monday. And this had we had just stepped into a Sunday. And you're like just thinking, you know, I've seen you in deep thought, you know, reality was really sinking in. Everyone had just left. There was only a very few amount of people there. Someone was crashed out on the couch. The rest of them were all crashing out. And I remember, and you're like, I think I'm going to go in. And I remember I said to you, I wish you had told me earlier because I would have done everything in my best power to keep you out. I would have written you a letter to say, hey, this guy is a good man. He means well. He's changed. He's come a long way. And you have. And do you remember what I said to you after that, when you told me that, after I told you how I said to you, you know, I said, you know, it's going to be all right. Let's see what happens. I said,
you prayed for me.
I said, I'll pray for you. I said, everything's going to be all sweet. I said, I'm going to keep praying for you. I ended up going home and telling my mum, there's this guy that I met, I told you about. I need you to pray for me. I don't know. There's something about my mum when she prays. I don't know if it's a coincidence. I don't know what it is. I don't want to put her on a pedestal. I don't want to talk her up in front of the camera and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just feel like things always seem to work out and work its way around. I don't know what it is. You know, I've been in some sticky situations, man, especially back on Mildura, and things have worked out for me. But do you remember what happened after when your court case came around and your court case finished? What's the first things that you ended up seeing? Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So I was a free man. That was a big relief for me at that time. And I needed to take a break.
They let you go, but they put you on parole.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And it was a lot leading up to that point. You know, because prior to that 6 months, you know, you got to come up with the money for your lawyers and fees. And I was working like a dog. Yeah. Every day I did everything I could. You know, it was my hardest point of my life. You know, going to that, leading up to the court case. You know, there was points where, you know, I'd have the belt around my neck. You know, I'd try to commit suicide. I could count 50 times. You know, I even stabbed myself. You know, in here. You know, I've been in the mental ward a few times, and I had dark thoughts of doing so many things, and it was a huge relief. It was massive, and hence why I thank God every day, you know, because I could be just coming out right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, after all that, you know, I needed a rest. My body was fucked. Literally, I couldn't. I spent time with my family, and the day before, you know, leading up to my court case, and then obviously going to the court case, I was a free man, and it was a huge relief. And then it was the events afterwards. You know, I had 2 rental properties. You know, those guys knew I was going in, and my idea was to still have money, cash flow going in, and still being okay being in jail. And, you know, not saying anything, these men wouldn't pay their rent. You know, they thought I was in. And, you know, just little things, you know, only a few people reached out, you know.
Remember on Sunday, one day before the court hearing, I came and see you and I said, if you do end up staying out and not going in, don't tell anyone that you didn't go in, and watch how people treat you. Do you remember when I said that?
Oh, I remember.
And see how quickly people
changed,
started not paying their rent,
switching
for the house that they're living in that belongs to you.
100%.
Crazy, isn't it?
Literally, you know.
And they were partying with you the night before.
They were.
That's the craziest thing. Oh, it's crazy. It's insane. But that's what I'm talking about, man. Everyone, a lot of people, I should say, not everyone, but a lot of people, majority of the people, they're out for their best interest, man. You know, they smile, they'll shake your hand, and they'll tell you all these great things and tell you what you want to hear. They'll feed your ego. How many of them do they really want our best interests at heart? How many of them? You know? And I wanted you to see that, though. You know? And I remember when I called and I was like, is he in? I was anticipating what's going on. And I remember I called Jeff. I said, Jeff, what's going on? And he goes, I don't know, the hearing's just like round up. He's like, I'll let you know. I'll call you or T will call you. And then you motherfuckers, you play a prank on me, or T's going in. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, literally.
And then I get a number from a private call. And Brother Gags, I'm a free man. And I was so happy for you, man. You know, I was really happy for you. And I'm glad you didn't go in, because who knows how it was going to pan out and which direction it could have gone. And then, you know, there was a lot to learn from that period of time, because I think that relationship and then the scare of going to jail and then having, you know, the hardest points of seeing who's real and who's not real, who's sticking around, right?
Yep.
And then obviously you had to navigate that a certain way. And it drew, you know, it drew us closer in a sense. So let's talk about what happened after that.
Yes.
So you're out, you're a free man. And I remember we connected
Mm-hmm.
and my mum's like, call him over for food.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. And then we ended up, I ended up inviting you.
Mm-hmm.
And then take me through what happened.
Yeah, so court date's finished. It was pretty much a huge relief, and I had to start from scratch, literally.
Yeah.
And it was just funny because the way I met you was a real godsend, because it's like, the universe or God, the Almighty, kind of hand fed me you out of nowhere. And and that pivotal point is where meeting you, and obviously you being a coach, you being successful, you being an investor, you leading students and stuff.
And I wasn't even coaching at the time.
That's
Remember
right.
that?
That's right. Yes.
You brought the coaching out of me.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
Yeah. Well, yes, the mastermind.
100%. Because I wasn't even coaching at the time.
That's right. Yes.
At the time, I was only helping people out around me.
Yes.
That would come to me, but it
That's
wasn't
correct.
like a full blown out, hey, can you please coach me? Here's the money. It was just more like my friend would come up to me and be like, you're running a business. How do I do this? And then I'd be like, dude, da, 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 da. And then they'd apply and they'd be successful, and then they'd kind of journey on their way. But like when you first come out, from what I recall, we caught up a lot.
Yes.
And the time at the at my mother's house when she hosted the meal.
Yep.
And which caught me by surprise after we ate, and I said to you, what is it that you want to do? Well, where do you see yourself in 3 years and 5 years from now? Because at the time you're kind of going back into just doing the whole entertainment.
Yep.
And we had a discussion. It was a bit of a deep discussion, because what caught me off surprise was like, you said to me, I want you to mentor me. And I didn't know if you were fucking with me or not. Do you know what I mean? Because it was like 1 minute we're eating and, and we were just being, my lineage and where we're from as people, in our culture, in our Turkish culture, we're very, like it was just hospitality and kindness and just sharing a meal and just kind of celebrating the fact you didn't go in and feed the system even more.
Yep.
But that then opened up a lot of things, like, when you said to me, I want you to mentor me. And I said, what do you mean? You said, I want to learn what you know.
100%.
I want to have what you have.
Yep.
And then I started asking you questions. And then you ended up asking me, saying, and I've seen how much you meant it, because it didn't make sense to you. When you looked at me, you said to me, why me though? And then my best answer to that was, why not you? Because at the same time, you've done a lot for me without realizing you're doing a lot for me. I had come here, I was on, I had pretty much lost everything in order to be able to keep my dignity and my, and do what I felt I had to do that felt right to me at the time, by closing my businesses and moving here to look after my family. Losing a lot of time and money and employees. And I was at a climb. I had no Instagram.
Yep.
Wasn't on no podcasts. Everyone seemed to have forgotten about me.
That's right. I remember. You're in your building phase. Like, you're just building. Yeah. I remember. Yep.
And then, so I said, okay, but you need to do what I tell you to do. And yep. Anything.
Here we go.
Yep, sweet. Yep. Tell me anything. Yep. All good. Yeah. I'll do. Yep. Sweet. I'm all yours. I'm all ears. And it wasn't easy. We did have a lot of hiccups, but I always wanted the best for you. Do you know what I mean? And it was, and then the ideas started coming up.
Yep.
As we started having some discussions at the beach. Hey, I'm going to the beach at 2:00. Meet me at the beach. I'm there. Regardless, you never say no to me.
No, 100%. Because in that point in time, I knew there was something. Going back to that place where I first met you, there was just a few things that you said that got me. Just like me standing up for you, and shaking your hand. There was just a few things. I'm like, no, this guy's. He speaks the same language. Like, the words that he's used, I'm like, I fuck with that shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Connecting. And it's energetic most of the time.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt. I felt you've got this character that you need to be for entertainment. But what I was seeing behind the scenes, a lot of people don't see. you know,
Oh.
and that's a lot of a big heart, soft, not soft in terms of, hey, you won't do. Yeah, if this guy had to, if you fuck with this guy the wrong way and his family and his friends, you rip your fucking heart out and probably eat it, right? Everyone's got that kill instinct. We're men. We have to be. It was more so seeing how caring you were, how inclusive you were, and how you'd always try to do right. And if things came across the wrong way that would upset you, you would express your feelings. You know what I'm saying? And people got a glimpse of that today on this podcast when you were sharing something that was deep for you. And it's not easy to do. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage. And that's why I said at the beginning of this podcast, it's taken us a minute to get to this point because there was a lot of trials and tribulations. And there was a lot throughout the whole mentoring that I had to say, don't do this, don't do that. And you look at me like, and I can see it. but you'd be like, all right, whatever, I'm not going to do that and I won't do that. But then you come back around and you'd say to me, you know what? I appreciate you pulling me up on that, bro. Honestly, it means a lot to me.
And there were so many things.
Yeah.
Countless, endless things. Yeah. You'd go, Brother T, stop messaging. Why are you on dating apps? You know, because my attention's still, I'm still just,
the devil tries to pull you back in.
Correct. Don't do that alcohol. Don't go to this party.
Yeah.
You're taking away from your own soul.
Yeah.
And then you'll get into my mind, these beat sessions, all the time. And I knew if I sacrificed my own time to be with this man, I could be him.
Yeah.
I could adapt or learn because I never had that, because, I had to chat with my old man and, you instilling, it would be every time we caught up. There was one thing. There was not one thing. It would always be something successful or something you'd see me and, you'd question me. And it was all out of love.
Yeah.
And I knew the difference because my other friends was like, yeah, you're the man. You're the man. You're the man. You're the man.
I'd be the opposite.
You'd be like, no, you ain't the man, G.
I'm like, you gotta step the fuck up, brother.
Literally, it was like, sorry, mate, you're getting checked, mate. Straight up, you know. I even remember a little moment where, one of my friends had a vape.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this so clearly. And it pissed me off a little bit. And I'd have the vape. I was like, yeah, fuck it, smoke this vape, and then you'd look at me funny.
I'd be staring at you.
Yeah, you're staring. Yeah, you're like, I'm like, what? You know what I mean?
Like, did you not learn all the fucking things I said to you 2 days ago?
Literally. And, you go, it was like, what, you're going to let this person influence you?
Derail you, yeah.
Yeah, derail you because, you know what I mean?
Demons don't come in the form of demons with horns and wings. They come in the form of women. Oof. I'm not saying all women are bad, but they come in the form of friends. They come in the form of some family members. They come in the form of all different types. And sometimes they might be a great person. Sometimes it might just be an ill thought that corrupts their brain and they might look at you and go, nah, fuck him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that happens to everybody. Listen, the most important thing for us is having awareness. Awareness and discernment, because then you're aware, and the Stoicism comes into that, because then you pull back and look at it for the bigger picture and go, why do I feel this way about this person? What made me feel this way about this person? Okay. And every single time, like at the very beginning, I didn't want to teach you money first off, because I thought to myself, in my mind, if I give him the powers of making money quickly, what's he going to do with that money? Is he going to do good with the money? Is he going to harm himself, his health, the people around him? Is he going to get a fast car, speed and kill himself? So first, I wanted to see that you can invest in yourself first. I wanted to see that you can invest in yourself. You're going to be true to your word. And then I said, okay, every single time he steps up to that level and maintains that level, because like it's like a championship, you can win, you can train and you can win that belt, but you also got to maintain that belt. You got to maintain the person you were coming up to get that belt and continue to be even stronger, because there's always going to be a wolf coming up and that's going to want to take that belt. And in terms of being successful, they want your business, they want your talents. And brother, we're not going to be young forever.
No, I'm feeling it.
So that's why I said, I have to make sure he is going to be real to himself. So then when he does get these investment opportunities in stocks and then in crypto, and that's why I gave it to you little bits at a time. I could have said, of course I could have said to you, hey, buy this back then when it was 15 cents, which the same thing's at now $3.70, $4. 100% I could have.
Yep.
But I had to do myself right and say, you know what? We need to make sure we become that person in order to be able to move like that person when success comes. Because if that success comes and we're not wise and smart with our money, and we take that money, we blow it on drugs and alcohol and women, that's why a lot of these people that win the lottery go broke within a few years.
100%.
They don't know how to invest. They just know how to spend.
Yep.
So the most important thing at the time for me was, hence why I said, invest in your health first. And I remember when you came to my house and your eyes lit up at one point, you're like, gee, who's this all for? About my supplement stack?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then you're like, what about me, G? What about me, G? What should I use?
Yeah.
I'm like, brother, all you need is such and such.
Give me the whole stack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pre-workout stack, everything.
Yeah.
Vitamins.
Yeah.
Hey, especially your vitamins, like it went to the point like I really wanted to know what every move you're making or what supplement, which was zinc, all the great supplements to be a high performance person like you were.
Yeah.
So I was really in awe of where you were going, your drive, your family and whatnot. So it was all these things around. I was like, wow. Yeah,
100%. And I want to pass it on to you. I want to almost give you my blueprint. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. People don't understand that you can become a coach and you could easily just charge someone and say, this is our goal, we're going to get to this goal. But mentoring is completely different. Mentoring is very different because now you're passing on how you move, the supplements, what time you sleep, what time you get up. Remember all the times I was saying, do this breath work. Ground.
I know your morning routine. You wouldn't have your phone. You wouldn't even look at your phone before like 10:30 or 11 o'clock.
For hours,
100%. Because it was your time. You needed to get sun first. You needed to breathe and make sure to do all that first before you even envision your day. So you can, start your day.
100%. Get serotonin releasing your brain naturally through the sun.
100%.
Get the electrons from the grass, from the ground.
100%. And then
purify with the water.
And then you would start your work first. You would be work straight away. And then your gym would come like at least after when the work's done. At like 9:30 if it was done or 10. And then you do your thing and then come back home.
And do work.
And then do more work. And I'll see you online at 2 o'clock. I'm like, what the hell?
Still doing,
Still doing it. And I thought I could do the same. I did it like maybe once or twice. And you know what I mean? I'm up, Brother Gurks. I mean, like Brother Gurk, you know what I mean? So,
100%. And that's the thing. Like, there was times where I was harsh on you, but that was only because I knew that if I was harsh to a particular point where I could break you in a good way, that you can regrow out of the person you kept going back to. Because when you grow, you can't go back to the person you were. Because then it's like almost gone, living up to 2.0, and now you're going back to 1. It's like, why would you do that? It's like making all this money and turning around and be like, oh no, let's flush it down the toilet. It's all good.
Legit.
And that's the thing too. Like, I really wanted you to see that the first point of success is self-success, self-awareness, and understanding who you truly are. Remember when we went to the beach that time? And I'll mention this because we ended up doing we ended up having mushrooms, and I said today's going to be a very special day, and this was a part of the spiritual discovery I wanted you to do.
That's right.
Because the people that was coming around us, they started to annoy me. People kept speaking in a certain way, acting a certain way, and I'd feel they're almost rubbing off onto you. And I took you out along the beach, and I remember I said to you, why are you calling yourself T? I said, what's your real name? And I knew your real name, but you said to me, G, you know my name. I said, no, but I want you to tell me what your real name is. I remember when you told me, I said, from now on, I want you to introduce yourself with your real fucking name, because that's your power and it has meaning. And that's why I like introducing you as Maharatia, because I feel like you're now fully leaning into who you're supposed to be and more. Look at all the things that you're accomplished and done, and I'm not going to take no credit away from you, because at the same time, I showed you the way. You didn't have to walk the way. You didn't. I just showed you the door. I just showed you what I did. I just showed you the steps I took. I just showed you the supplements I took. That's right. What time I wake up, what type of practice I did, the breath work I did, when I did it, why I did it. But you could have looked at all them and went, oh, well, but I'm happy that you took the time to get there. And it does take time. It's not easy. It's not an overnight thing. It was a fucking practice and a half. And I invested a lot of my time and effort. But you have proven to me that paid off, and it's paying off. Because after you invested into yourself, what happened with investments? With stock investments? That's the first thing that came. Do you remember New Year's? Remember what I told you on New Year's? When everyone's out partying and dancing, what was I doing? Remember what I did on New Year's?
Yep, it was investing into a stock portfolio.
I was watching into the stock because I know what time the stocks are going to drop for New Year's because everyone's pulling money out, right? And a particular stock dropped and I said, watch this, T. And I dropped what I dropped.
Yep.
And then by January 15th, when it all blew back up, I said, look at the money I just made in 10 days.
10x.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted you to see. So you can see it's possible.
That's right.
And that's when you came off the idea and said, hey, you know what? Let's do a mastermind.
Yes.
I don't want
now
nothing.
we're going, yes.
I'm going to get all my boys to come and I want you to teach them what you're teaching me. Because I just want to give the opportunity. If they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. Whatever.
Yes. Yep.
And I said, all right, sweet. If you want to do that, let's do it. And that's when the coaching started to come out and I started to coach.
That's right. Yep.
We ended up going to Southport and
Community Center, yeah.
Yeah. We done that. You organized it. You got everyone to come there.
Yep.
There was a lot of close friends involved. There was some people involved there.
That's true. Yep.
We did a few sessions throughout that year. And then and that's when Founder reached out and said, hey, do you want to be a coach? And then
what are the timing?
And I wasn't expecting to be a coach. I was just kind of doing my own thing, my own business, doing all of that. And then that led us, into, all the notes and all the things that we did. And then we ended up doing crypto, and that drove me into the things that I'm doing with crypto now.
Yep, that's right.
That we started off together. And now you're doing your thing.
Yep.
You've got the Gentleman's Code.
Yep.
Right? You've got a group of over 150?
Yeah.
Close to 150, something like that, last I checked, of, grown men that are now seeing what I once taught you. Go to the gym. Who cares if you're tired? Go to the gym. Get your blood moving.
Yep.
Take your supplements. Eat right.
And just for the people at home, what the Gentleman's Code is pretty much exactly what Brother Girks taught me, but deciphered on how I took it, because I didn't have no identity, and that's what it's all about, who you are, and that's what you taught me after my court case, honor. That's right.
Honor is the most important thing for a man, because when you got honor and you give your word's your bond, your word's your contract, and that's why it's the most important. And I'm glad you've learned that, because there was a lot of people around us, I could say, that wasn't very honorable. They'll do a lot of unhonorable acts. They weren't prepared to die for what they believe in.
No, 100%. And now with the Gentleman's Code, it is about men of identity. And then it leads into discipline, which goes into the practices that you taught me, which was Sunday resets. When I see it now, is the most pinnacle thing for me.
For sure.
Because
why start on a Monday? We can have one day head start and do it on a fucking Sunday.
And I know. and through those Sunday resets is what I learned, was because you plan your week.
Yeah.
Right?
And when you can't fuck it up.
You plan your week, you own your day, you own your week, you own your month, and then you own the year.
Yes.
And this is what you taught me.
Yes. Step by step.
Through these disciplines.
Yep.
And now, with those disciplines and practice, now it was the investments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's when the money comes.
That's right.
Once you get yourself in check, the money flows.
So at the end, and this is what the Gentleman's Code is. So this is all just brought from the practices that you taught me over the last 3 to 4 years, of knowing, from being your mentee and you being my mentor. And now I have the great pleasure to tell, my story here today, and hopefully inspire men that have no identity, have no disciplines.
All the young ones too, yeah.
Yep,
sure, coming up like you.
100%.
Yeah.
And, and now grown men from gangs are literally reaching out and saying, bro, and it's a great honor.
Yeah.
Them telling their stories just like I am telling to you today.
Well, you're taking them off the street, you're saving their life. And you know how the saying goes, superhero, the true superheroes don't usually wear capes. Well, you know how hard it is to be able to work in the shadows, save people's lives. And we don't even want to thank you. It's between me and God. I've always said this to you too. I've said this to everybody. True. Whatever I do for somebody, as long as they know, and as long as God knows, I'm all good. I'm all cool. And I'm grateful that my time and efforts didn't go to waste, because I also want to let the audience know that your recent accomplishments just this year, okay? Because this accomplishment, some people can't do it in 10 years, Brother T. Upgraded the car.
Yep, paid cash.
Right? another property, bought mother property
with my mum and my sister.
There you go. And I believe you brought a car for them, or that upgraded, something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was just the car in the house.
Yeah. So you've done that.
Yep.
You're invested. Your portfolio is growing.
Yep.
Okay. Every day while you sleep.
Correct.
You go to the gym every single day. What, six times a week? Sometimes 7.
Sometimes, if that. But now with my schedule now, man, I'm lucky enough to get 4.
Acting full time.
Yep.
Which a lot of people don't know. Which we know. Let's touch on that. And also, we're not talking some bullshit acting either. We're talking
big,
proper Hollywood movies. You know.
Yep. Big names.
Yep. Big names.
Can I mention them?
Of course.
You know, with bloody Mark Wahlberg, Isla Fisher, bloody the Borat guy.
Yeah.
Sacha Cohen's his name.
It's all going to come out in the future.
100%. And they're all just movies waiting to come out.
Yeah.
So just a little.
Yeah. Amazing. Accomplishments from that too. Shout out to Mac Linden and the crew, and Arthur, which is, sponsoring this podcast. This very live podcast. Is absolute correct. Gentleman.
100%.
And he's behind the scenes right now doing this thing. So gotta show Arthur love, Thanks to Arthur, I ended up becoming an actor. I wasn't even expecting becoming an actor. I ended up being this Turkish gangster on set, and that was an experience. And that's another movie you're in, a local movie, and helping the locals.
Yep.
Which is also amazing because, and that's the thing, if we all give each other a hands up and help each other up to succeed, and we help each other in any way, shape or form, the universe is going to work in our favor, and it's going to open opportunities and open doors. And those are the things that I want the audience to know, because this mentality of just me and, trying to steal the spotlight, it ain't going to work for no one. Why be the crab on the bottom of the bucket trying to pull somebody down? Do you know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing. And I really hope that, because there's already enough division in the world. Division with fucking this whole feminine, masculine, this, who's jabbed, who's not jabbed, all of this race division, and I just believe under the one skies, like Bruce Lee says, we're all one. Okay. So if we stop being divided and see the problem for what it is and come together, maybe we can do some great things for ourselves as humans, but also for humanity.
100%.
And this is my honest, true belief that I wanted to pass on to you, which now I know for a fact you're going to pass on to these younger generations. Because I always say to you, Brother T, I've got a heart and soul too, and I'm not going to be here forever. And my teachings, I know I'm going to rest assured that you're only going to get better. Because again, there is no reason we should go back to how we once used to be, because we outgrown that.
That's right.
And we only can excel forward and become even better and continue to do better. So I have 2 questions for you, Brother T. Okay. So everything that you've experienced in the last 4 years.
Yep.
And obviously the adversities that you had to go through. And I've always said there's always a blessing in every adversity.
This is true.
This is also very important. What message do you have for the people that have shaped you into becoming the man that you are today, specifically to the people that put you through those hard times? I want you to look into this camera right here, and I want you to share your honest, heartfelt message to how these people helped you become the man you are, sitting here right in front of me today.
Look, I have no hate in my heart, to all the people who did me wrong. But, it's as simple as, thank you. I literally do. From the bottom of my heart, I take responsibility for all the bad things I did, and I can't thank you enough. The reason I say this is because those bad times that broke me to the floor crying into the man I am today is something that I just can be grateful. I have no hate in my heart for you guys. I forgive you, because with all those adversities and trials and tribulations and being suicidal and wanting to neck myself, gave me the great strength to be the man I am today, and created me, Maharatia, son of Hone Rotana, descended from great chiefs. So I thank you, and all I have for you guys is, it's just love, And if I ever did you wrong, for any of my exes out there, I apologize. I wasn't a man of value. I was a little boy. I was a little lion, a cub trying to find his way in this world. And I'm sorry for breaking your heart. I truly am. And for me to just to sit here and, to tell you guys, all the love, I just love.
That's beautiful, brother. And on that note, I also want to point out one thing. When there's been times where I felt wronged, you took accountability. You grew into the man I was expecting you to be. You didn't let me down. There's this gift that I received by Brother T. If we can zoom into this, it's a head of a wolf, and he gifted this shortly after I felt I was wronged. He came clean and took accountability, and my respect has always been there, but it just flourished and blossomed even more so since then. And that just shows me character. It shows me power. It shows me what you're willing to do to become a better man. And I'm proud of you for that. And I'm proud of you for taking accountability. And I have a lot of love for you, brother. Now, one last message. I want you to tell all the viewers, if this ever goes viral and worldwide, to the millions, potentially even billions of people one day, because we are going to get to some certain heights. So this is not the end. This is only the beginning. So what message do you have for all the youth, both males and the women out there, that you would give from your experience and who you've become? What would your message be to the people that are viewing this right now?
Oof.
Take a moment to think if you need to. It's a bit of a question.
Look, take it from myself. Someone that has done all the hedonism acts to the worst of the worst, to no morals, no values. And, if you're watching this, there is hope. If you're breathing, there is hope, there's light. I was full of darkness. I didn't even see the light. And I know for all the men and women out there who are lost, I was lost too. I was a broken man, but, with prayer and brotherhood and mentors and good quality friends to keep you accountable, like real accountability, to people to call you out for your shit that you're doing. Those are real friends. Those are real relationships. And have those hard conversations with yourself. Even with your partners, it's about hard conversations, And all I can say is, being so broken, I know we're all sons and daughters of God themselves, and we all have that light. You just gotta find that light. And if you're going through darkness, you gotta keep going. Trust me. The devil whispers and gives you temptations like no other. Trust me, I know. But, choose yourself. Keep praying. And survive another day, because your story could be told. And I know that your light can be shined. And you can also help somebody else that's looking and give them hope.
Love it. Beautiful message, brother. Beautiful message. Guys, that's another Meraki experience right there. Sharing things with passion and love. Iammaharatia is the handle for Instagram. You can find this gentleman there and see to the greatest heights is still going to step to take. Like I mentioned, that this is not the end, it's the beginning.
And thank you, Brother Gerks. It's been an honor and pleasure for you to have me here. I feel the love, I feel seen, and I can't wait to do more greatness with you.
There's a lot of work to be done. We can always improve. There's always room for improvement, I believe. If you've enjoyed this, like, subscribe, share, spread, follow, do the whole lot. And I am Gerks Gerger, and my handle is exactly Gerks Gerger. So if you're wanting to follow us and support us and watch our journey, you're more than welcome to, and would be pleased to have you watching our success. Thank you, and until next time.